Did I already start this video? Anyway, I want to get into how they go about their business. And remember how Mamma Mia came out the same day as The Dark Knight? Well, and Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again came out the same day as The Dark Knight Rises. 6 years apart on that one, though. The Dark Knight and Mamma Mia, the exact same day, exact same year. And I explained that in the previous video how the three men were all associated with, either, the Antichrist, uh, the three men in Mamma Mia. One was Pierce Brosnan, James Bond 007, Seventh King of Mr. Babylon. The other one was Kingsman Golden Circle guy, and the other one was Girl with the Dragon Tattoo villain, which Daniel Craig starred in and had a right eye wound in. So they did the same thing with a female movie and a male movie release when they did Oppenheimer. And it was again a July movie, so I guess we should take a look at that since it was July 18th over to July 21st. And it's only a 3-day spread. It's 15 years, 3 days, 153 code. The 17th triangular number, 153, which I believe is what Q is all about. Yes, the 17th triangular number is 153. And the 153 fish and the church, when you add 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 16 plus 17, the sum of all of them equals 153. And so you do have the 153 coded there. It's 783 weeks. 83 we showed you as murder and one of the four base ciphers. Nothing else big there, but look what they do here. When they did Oppenheimer and Barbie, both released on July 21st. Notice Barbie was released on July 9th, which is murder, 7-9, murder in simple gematria. And Oppenheimer was released, I'm talking about their premiere dates. I'm sorry. They were both released July 21st, United States. But they each had a premiere date, and one was July 9th, 79 murder, and the other was July 11th, Revelation 11:7. Beast rising from the pit. So the murder and the rising associated with it. And so now, and Barbie has 68 in the URL and 68 in the code or of its rating 6.8. And we showed you previous 68 is a match with Antichrist in the exact same base cipher. Antichrist is 68 in the same cipher where Donald Trump is 68. And Oppenheimer is 83, which is murder, which we showed you that in one of the four base ciphers. So that's how they go about their business. July 9th and July 11th, the premiere dates. Well, if you run when they called it Barbenheimer, that was like a big deal because they fused them together, which is what I'm showing you why they do. Barbenheimer. And it's actually has a Wikipedia page. And so it's the fusion of Barbie and Oppenheimer. And you actually have the images fused together or Barbie walking out of the explosion. So I guess that'll be my thumbnail for this video. But when you run Barbenheimer to our series, The Dog Star Rising date, when we think the Antichrist will start to possess his body 2 days after they stage their event on August 10th, it's that perfect 753 days. And we know 753 was on all the clocks in Back to the Future. And it's 2 years, 22 days, or your 222 code. Or it's 24 months, 22 days, which is the exact amount of days as the total solar eclipse that made the X across America. We might as well look at those two total solars to our event, to the rising day on this and I think the first X represents the death day, and the second X, or the second solar, represents the rising day. And if you run this to the rising day, it is 1 year, 4 months, 4 days, or 404, Revelation, or 144, representing the church. So it's everything. The seconds begin with 4242, which is Antichrist, because 2424 is Jesus in Strong's Concordance, G 2424. And it's that perfect 11,784 hours, which is my number, times 14308. 14308 times my number of 82362, which is 7 times 6 times 1961. And it begins with 11784. And I just happened to notice that in the hours. So the total solar X across America is 491 days, but to the event, it's 489. And there's your 89 again. 89 is in Donald Trump and the Jewish Hebrew Gematria, and Donald J. Trump, 589 and 1189. And it's 6 months, 2 days, 16 months, 2 days. So you have your 602 code again, or Revelation code again. Now, if you go to the 2020 midpoint, total solar eclipse, that's actually sits directly in the middle of the total solar eclipse that makes the X across America. It's 1696 days to the rising day, but to the event day is 4 years, 7 months, 21 days. There's your 721, the Barbie Oppenheimer date. Whoops, I'm in the wrong spot. I'm sorry. That occurred on 12/14. Oh my goodness, even better. It's a perfect 1700 days even for Q. 4 years, 7 months, 27 days. The length of iPad goat is 727. So, okay, that's the midpoint of the total solar eclipse that made the X across America. That was also a total solar eclipse on 12/14/2020. Wow. That's to the elimination day, by the way. If you run it to the rising day, it's 1702. But 408 hours, 408:48. We already showed you his name is 48 in one of the four base ciphers, and 408 is the date of the total solar making the X across America. The Great Conjunction date was 12/21, 2020. The Mayan calendar was 2021, 2012. Oh, wow, that's perfect. The Mayan calendar date is 4/6/15, which Batman Begins was 6/15. And remember, that means rising on the third day is 6/17, and 6/17 is the 113 prime number, the 113th prime number. Remember, 11/3 represents rising. It's opposite 9/11 was 3/11, what they did in 2020, all of that. It's also the inception of One World Trade Tower opening. But it's 12 years, 7 months, 20 days, or Tower 1, Tower 2, Tower 7 fused with 720, The Dark Knight Rises. if you run it. And that's why the OJ on the white horse was on 617, the Bronco chase, because that was AC on the white horse or driving the white Bronco. That was all very staged. All of that was staged. Every bit of that was staged, divide and conquer. 4,617 days, utter perfection for the Mayan calendar date of 2012. So, and then we wanted to look at the X across America, 8 on 8/21, 2017 to the 80/16 day. It's 2009-11 days. 7 years, 11 months, 20 days. So you have 7/11, 9/11, which is what 9/11 was all about, was Revelation 11:7. September was once the seventh month. Most countries write the dates backwards, so it was really about 11/7. Whew. I would now put this date in first place. And the biggest cipher I always tell you is the total solar eclipse on the summer solstice on 6/21/2001, because 2001: A Space Odyssey began with the solar eclipse over the monolith. And so let's run that date to our date, 88, 88/16, 289 in the months, Mustang 289 representing the four horses. We've told you about the 89. It is all about him. When I saw The Dark Knight, it was on August 1st, 2008, on a total solar eclipse. Then the full moon from that was on 8/16, and there's your 88 fused with 8/16 to the event day. If you include both dates, it is 24 years, 1 month, 21 days, 121 Antichrist. But let's run it to the rising day. It's 88/18. And what's so unique about that is the Back to the Future clocks were said to be 25 minutes off. And Marty was like, oh, that means I'm late for school. So instead of 7:53, it was 8/18, my mom's birthday. And there's your 88 fused with 8/18. My late mom's birthday, rest in peace. So all of that from the total solar eclipse, 88/18. 24 years, 1 month, 22 days. 289 in the months. And there was another item I wanted to look at and show y'all was Neil Armstrong walking on the moon was on 7/20/1969, which I think that's why they had the Dark Knight Rises, because he is the moon child. And if you look at Neil Armstrong's FAKESTAGED Walking on the Moon, a song by the Police, who gave you Ghost in the Machine, it's 20,477 days. And there's your 47, which is his number. Now, when Trump said, I am the chosen one, that was on Trump said, I am the chosen one. It was August 21st, 2019. It was on that 8/21 date when the first X across America came across. So it was 2019 on 8/21 when he said, I am the chosen one. Somebody had to do it. And you got your 311 weeks right there on the rising day. 311 opposite 911. It's 2,183 days. 5 years, 11 months, 22 days. 1122 code for JFK, FAKE. Not really sure how all of that was pulled off. Or was he the first clone? It is 11:03 p.m. Speaking of 11.3 code. When he said, "You may not see me for a while," that was 8/6/2020. Trump said, "I have a lot of enemies out there. You may not see me for a while." Whirlpool. Yeah, 86/2020. 8/6/86 to the 80/16 date. We run that and you got your 83 again. We just got through with an 83 and there's your 83 again. 1,830 days to the 80/16 day. So how do we get that 83 back to back like that or that? You got 183 both times. 2,183 and 1,832. So you had your 183 on both of those. That was weird. Uh, 60 months, 6 days for 66 code or revelation. That means rising 88 or August 8th, 2020 to the rising day, of course, is your 183 again. If we run the 311 to the 812, well, if you run it to the 86ing day and include both dates, you get your 1979. If you run your 313 when he did what he did to your rising day and include both dates, you get your 1970. So it's 1978, 1979 code. We also might as well take a look at the Batman final movie that came out in 2022, which was a different type of Batman. And it's 179 weeks. So there's your 79 murder in simple gematria. Um, that's on the 80/16 day or the rising day. It's still 179 weeks. If you look at Top Gun Maverick to the rising day when he becomes Top Gun Maverick, there's your 11/7, Revelation 11/7, 1173 days. 3 years, 2 months, 16 days, 216 is coded James Bond's car tag or 6 times 6 times 6. Now let's run the full moon from the total solar in 2008 on 8/16. 16 years, 11 months, 27 days. You have your Tower 1, Tower 2, Tower 7 coded again, but it's 886 weeks. 886 weeks, y'all. 886 in the weeks. 148 begins the hours, which is Donald J. Trump and Simple Gematria. It's 148,920 hours, so it's 148.9. So you have everything right there with that 886 weeks on the 86ing day. It'd be 886 weeks in one day on the 86ing day, 886 weeks, 3 days on the rising day. It's 6,205 days or 6,203 days. Your 62 is always Revelation 602. Lastly, let's just do his descent down the escalator, which represents the death on 6/16 on that Tuesday. This is fascinating. It's 121 months for Antichrist. It's 121 in simple gematria. 88 begins the hours. But more importantly, I mean, it's 3708. 37 is prime number for the church, divides evenly into 1111 through, I mean, 111 through 999, which includes 666. But if you run it to the rising day, it's his descent down the escalator to his rising. Yes, it's still 121 months. But it's 3,710 days. 710 is Eve in the Jewish Hebrew gematria, fused with 37, the prime number for the church, which is the Eve or the bride of Christ, as Jesus is our Adam, the other Adam, to us being the bride of Christ being Eve. So these are all the really, really, really big ciphers that I look at in these first three videos, I do believe. All right. Love y'all.